This is This Week in Comics, and I'm going to be checking in here. There's like a 15-second delay to see if this worked, to see if the microphone worked, and to see if we've got everything. If you're new to this page, I do comic book news and reviews. I break down my favorite comics from the week before, as well as bringing you all the new comic news from that week, and I try to make it from actual reliable sources, trying to keep rumors out of things, and this week is especially tricky for that because there are so many rumors this week. I wanted to focus on the actual truths we know. So if you're into comic books themselves, like the actual comics, I'm going to be talking about those, as well as bagging and boarding some of my collection, because that's been a fun thing to do with y'all, as well as talking about the news and separating rumors from truths and all that jazz, plus previewing the comics that are out this week. Right now, it is Friday. This is a double live week because we did a show earlier in the week, and with this show, we catch up on all of the books. So if any of that interests you, please hit that subscription bell. We are rapidly approaching 40,000 subscribers, and I am so very excited and so very proud. I love the community we've built here. We thrive on positivity, and there's plenty of other stuff out there on the internet. Rumors and negativity abounds. That's out there. Here, we're celebrating stuff. So hit that subscription bell, hit that like while you're here, and please, let's have a chat in the comments. Let's just have a good time. I promise you, hit every single super chat and Streamlab. I will not miss one. We just got our first from Olenti birthday stream. That makes me so happy. I was hoping this Friday stream would work out. I didn't even realize it'd be for a special occasion. A very happy birthday to Olenti, who we see in the chat all the time, who I very much appreciate. A very happy birthday. Everyone wish them much merriment. But yeah, we're diving in. Very excited about all that stuff. Let's talk about the news of the week. I'm frozen on my end. Okay, it got better. I was so worried. It does look a little choppy, and I hope that gets better. And if it doesn't, I apologize. That's the chaos of LA internet. Man, oh man. All right, so there was a bit of news this week, and it is a tricky blend because a lot of it is rumors and a lot of it is truth, because the current press tour for Creature Commandos has James Gunn actually doing press, which means we're getting actual quotes, which means we're actually seeing the shape of the DCU, because remember, Creature Commandos kicks this whole universe off, and that is next month, December 5th. We kick off the DCU, which I'm very excited about. And then we also had quotes coming out of Kevin Feige talking at a giant convention in Singapore. So actual quotes from actual sources are news. There are a ton of other rumors. That's not what this show's about. So let's talk about the news from James Gunn first, because I can't believe the DCU is almost here. I'm so impossibly excited for it. It's literally weeks away at this point that we get Creature Commandos, and then at that point on, we roll right into Superman in July of next year, which is just staggeringly exciting. So let's start with the goodness out of James Gunn's tour, talking Creature Commandos. He basically is trying to narrow the field of what's coming out. I know there's been some movies rumored. Until I see an actual tweet or thread or Instagram or confirmation that way, likely I don't believe it, or I want to wait until it's officially announced so I can celebrate it properly. But the things that we do know are, and I'm very excited about this first one, we are getting multiple R-rated properties in the DCU. And I love that kicking off the DCU, we're so far into superhero culture that we don't have to wait and see. We get to actually rely on the quality of the content, the actual comic book subject matter, to inform what the rating is going to be, because he said, and this is from Collider, Gunn isn't limiting himself to see how an R-rated project performs with audiences before deciding to go ahead with more. He said, quote, "We're not about that. We're about see how it goes. We've got one opportunity to take these characters and really press forward and do what we believe. I'm a great believer that if we tell good, authentic stories, if a movie does well or doesn't do as well, if you keep with that same philosophy, that you're going to build a universe that people are going to love and want to be a part of for a long time." I love this philosophy. You do only get one chance to make a first impression, and a lot of these characters we've seen other impressions of, and you've only got another chance to show what this universe is going to be for the first time once. So don't hedge your bets. We've got the success of things like Deadpool and Wolverine. We've got the success of things like Peacemaker, which he also talks about, and he says, quote, "It's not about testing out to see if this thing works. It's just about telling a story. If a story is going to be R-rated, we're totally okay with that. If it's going to be PG, PG-13, or G, I don't care. Whatever is worthy of the story, that's what we're going to do." And he added that there is more than one thing that is close to being greenlit, which may be an R-rated. Frosty, Stephen Weintraub over at Collider then said, is the Deadpool and Wolverine success exciting? And he said, absolutely, that's right. People love that character. People love that format for that thing. You know, Peacemaker is unrated, basically. So we have all sorts. I like the idea of doing all sorts of different things. I love that because you don't need a necessary R-rated take on Batman. You can have an R-rated take on Batman, but you can go pretty far. There are characters I'd love to see R-rated, like Lobo. You don't ever really need an R-rated Superman, but there are characters I'd love to see R-rated, like maybe Sandman, maybe Swamp Thing. I would absolutely want an R-rated John Constantine Hellblazer. It depends on the character. You can have potentially a PG, I don't know, depending on which Robin. It's actually, Robin's a great example. One Robin could be PG, another Robin could be R, depending on the subject matter. Like, the Robins are an array of tones, so that kind of suits the character for which rating. So I love that he's addressing it like this. I think that's the way to have things go. I think that, you know, people assume a lot of characters need a certain rating. You can push limits pretty far, and you also need to keep in mind these movies need to do well. And R-rated movies do better now than they used to, but you still need to keep in mind you're cutting out everyone legally buying a ticket from 12 to 17 or, you know, 16 and 11 months. That's a lot of tickets if you're making everything R-rated. That said, something like Hellblazer should be R-rated, and they're approaching it that way, which I really, really dig. Also, live chat, we will absolutely talk about it, but yes, headshots for the year. You better walk around like Daft Punk. Today is the day that JFK was assassinated. Today was the day that Drake was. Today is the day that Kendrick dropped his headshots of the year. The incredible album I will talk about later on, because I think I've only listened to it 3 times. 3 times through. Contention for an album of the year for me personally. I think I might make an album of the year video. I don't usually do music here, but a lot of people have been asking. Music's kind of the only thing I have left that's mine, because I have made movies and TV and comics. Like, everything people do for fun and like to relax is my work, so I don't really have any fun hobbies that I don't keep work in the back of my mind for. So that's why I haven't really talked music, but maybe, no matter what, we will talk Kendrick today later on in the stream. But keeping with quotes, and I love that people are excited. Keeping with quotes, James Gunn also, speaking of Peacemaker being unrated, talking about Peacemaker Season 2, said, quote, "The truth is almost all of Peacemaker is canon with the exception of Justice League, which we will kind of deal with in the next season of Peacemaker." And he told that to IGN, and then jokingly talking about a subtitle for Peacemaker Season 2 said, "I think Peacemaker Season 2, no Justice League happened in Peacemaker Season 1, haha." So I love that we are going to address how it's canon in the show. It makes sense. I love that he has in the past talked about canon being the story that is referred to within the story. That makes it canon. Like, when you read a comic book, if it is something that references a prior run, that becomes canon to that story. Like, when Batman mentions a prior adventure, that makes it canon in that adventure. I personally really dig the idea of, like, evolving this, and I'm really excited to see how Peacemaker addresses it and moves things forward. Will it be multiversal? Will it be something with a helmet? Will it be many of those things? We'll find out together, but I love that he's addressing it in the press tour, and that is something that a lot of people have asked about. So in speaking of Peacemaker, he also, while doing all of this crazy press, was obviously asked about Superman and Batman as well. And regarding Batman, he said that we are, quote, "right now we are moving forward with the brave and the bold." So it looks like everything as planned for that announcement is moving forward. So I do think we're getting a Damian Wayne. I do think we're going to get an announcement when they're ready. I love that they're very focused on once the script is ready, they'll make an announcement. But just because that was, you know, the 2-year ago announcement, things are still as planned with Batman the Brave and the Bold, according to this quote. And we will be, quote, "it won't be too long to be released" regarding a trailer. I made that phrasing very odd, but he did say we'll be getting a trailer soon. It won't be too long till it is released. And Frank Grillo told Frosty over at Collider that he has seen it and absolutely adored it. Made, you know, goosebumps on his skin. He freaked out. He got so excited. So all of that makes me very, very happy. So I do have a super chat in here, and like I said, I promise I'm going to make sure we get to all of those in addition to Olenti's birthday. Very important. I'm so happy that someone's birthday in here and that it's Olenti. Eric Kirby says, "Mr. Coy, thoughts on the 1990s Dark Horse Batman vs. Predator comic? One of my favorites. I wish they would make an animated movie." You know, I do love those Dark Horse Predator comics, and the Batman vs. Predator is an especially great one. I'm a huge fan. I would love to see that animated, but now Fox is owned by Marvel, which means Predator is now a Marvel Prince. which means the Marvel comics actually are doing a great run of Predator stuff. It's actually made my top 9 a few weeks. There's actually a Predator versus Black Panther that's amazing, and there's a upcoming Predator versus Spider-Man. Benjamin Percy, who's writing on Wolverine, is so good, and he knows the hell out of Predator. Highly recommend those as well, especially if you love the old Dark Horse ones. But yeah, I'm a fan, and I think you'll like the stuff Marvel is doing. I don't think licensing issues will ever allow us to get an animated movie unless it's from Disney. But time will tell. Crazier things have happened. All right, now let's go back to these quotes. I'll be keeping an eye on this chat. A very quick quote that made the rounds. He got asked on Threads, I believe it was, quote, "Do you have any ideas for how Deathstroke could potentially work in the DCU? Are there any plans for him at all?" And he responded yes and yes. So he does know how Deathstroke could work in the DCU, and yes, there are plans. This is the only confirmation I need to see that Deathstroke is coming. There's been rumors about Deathstroke for a long time, so I'm excited there's some confirmation. He's a great character. Slade Wilson is amazing. There's a lot of places I could see him working. He's a very interesting character we haven't gotten a ton of in mainstream live action. Yes, he's appeared on some shows. Yes, he's appeared in lots of animated stuff, but I think Deathstroke could be a formative force in the DCU, and there is apparently a plan. From Deathstroke over to Batman, his nemesis, or one of them. Deathstroke I think of as so Teen Titans now, but I definitely consider him a Batman villain. He's a very interesting spot in my brain of villainy. He did also talk about Batman being, an upcoming thing, but saying basically Superman, Supergirl, Creature Commandos, like focusing on that stuff. That's where I'm hoping a lot of journalists ask them questions about, because I feel like once the Batman script is locked, that'll be such a big announcement. We don't need to keep trying to get little morsels and stuff, and that's why I don't like to report on the rumors. But he did talk about Lanterns, which is my big property beyond Superman and Supergirl. The below-the-line talent on Lanterns is, I think, maybe the best I've ever seen assembled. Like the Tom King, Damon Lindelof combo, the showrunner from Ozark, it's absolutely insane. So I'm very excited about this. And when asked about Lanterns, he had a bunch of quotes I want to talk about. The first being, quote, "The truth is Chris Mundy and Tom King and Damon Lindelof wrote an amazing series, an incredible series. I'm so excited for people to see this. It's very grounded, very believable, very real. The kind of things that you would never really think would be the truth about a Green Lantern television series. And very human, adult, and wonderful, HBO. And the story that they wrote fit a couple of actors who were these ages, and so that's who they cast. Those were their choices. I totally backed them. I love them. I am so excited about, personally, Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre, especially after watching Rebel Ridge. If you haven't checked out my Rebel Ridge review, it felt like a Jon Stewart audition tape. He is amazing in it. He's amazing. Check it out. Really enjoyed Rebel Ridge. And he also said, quote, "So I'm really excited for people to see what those guys have come up with. But everything is to serve the story. The story is always first. The scripts are always first, and we would never be making the show if Chris and the guys hadn't turned in wonderful, beautiful scripts." More of this. Normalize the writing being so upfront and so important. Have your foundation. Don't build a house or a skyscraper, because it's a skyscraper. Shared universes are absolutely full cities. Each movie's a skyscraper. It's got to build a skyline. Without the foundation, that is going to topple over. You need the foundation of a good script. You need that anchored. So I'm so glad the scripts are being so focused on. Very excited about it. He also said that Lanterns will release apparently around the same time as Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, according to IGN. So that puts us in summer of 2026, because we get Superman in July, and last I heard Supergirl was June of 2026. That's very exciting. I'm so excited for every update we get about Lanterns. Couldn't be more ready for those three in particular. Creature Commandos is around the corner. Superman, I think, is one of the most important movies to exist in my lifetime. Supergirl is one of my favorite comics of all time, that Woman of Tomorrow run, and Lanterns is one of the best teams I've ever seen assembled. Ya boys hyped. And then to wrap up our array of James Gunn quotes going from the present to the future, when asked about what he's going to direct next, he said, quote, "I've got 4 different things that I could do, and I'm going to be kind of jump back and forth between those things. I'm going to see which one really speaks to me, and that's the one I'm going to do." Because we're going from the press tour for Creature Commandos right into Superman, but we don't know, besides overseeing a whole universe, what he's making next. So I'm glad he's taking a moment to assess and seeing what his heart calls to, and that's the coolness about being attached to all that goodness. Yeah, pretty insane. So that is going to do it for all the James Gunn quotes. I'm going to be talking about Kevin Feige's quotes coming out of Singapore here in a second. And guys, we got 100 of you lovelies in here right now, which means so much to me. Thank you. I love when that crosses triple digits. I have been all over the internet. You probably know me from conventions as well as Real Rejects and Capes and Cowls and my old stuff at Collider or Screen Junkies or all over the place. But growing my own page means a lot, and we have like consistently had over 100 people in live streams no matter what day I do it. I announced this morning. This all just came together. So to the 120 of you in here right now, thank you. I literally announced this like late last night that I was doing it and what time about an hour ago. So I appreciate each and every one of you. While you're here, this video only has 5 likes. Let's get the 118 of you. Half of you could press, like. That'll 10 times that number. So please hit that like. I very, very appreciate it. Like, it means the world you guys are here. Andrew Carnes asks, would you rather see Nolan do Mr. Miracle or Dr. Fate? I believe this gentleman and I spoke during Capes and Cowls this morning, and he asked me Nolan doing a DC and Marvel property. And I said at Marvel Daredevil and at DC Mr. Miracle. I think he'd do an incredible Fate. I think Dr. Fate in his hands would be so enigmatic and weird and mysterious. But I'm still going Mr. Miracle, for me personally, just because Mr. Miracle is one of the most important comics to me that's ever existed, the Tom King and Mitch Gerads run, and I think he has the ability to find the surreal and make it real, and he could add a human element to such a crazy story of New Gods, but that would also serve Dr. Fate. So your idea is fantastic, because it's the same reasons. I'm just more connected to Mr. Miracle than Dr. Fate, but the same strengths that I'm espousing Nolan have would benefit both characters, so I think that's absolutely a great suggestion. Good sir. Galaghost, what's up, my Boston brethren? Coy, after 5 months unemployed. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I found work managing a non-profit organization giving back to the community in Boston. And I wanted to say, one of two, keep an eye out for the next one. Oh, I did say Animal Man. Thank you. No, I did say Animal Man because of the fourth wall breaking meta-ness. You're totally right. You're totally right. Well, clearly, I'm also drawn to a Mr. Miracle because that is something that's what I said. Someone asked, what character have we not seen on the screen yet that I most want to see, and that's why I said Mr. Miracle. I think Animal Man is the one above all because I think he would handle a meta thing in a way that would be not inherently humorous. It would be dramatic, and I would love to see a character break the fourth wall in a way that is jarring, not just funny. Like, we see a lot of fourth wall breaks used for humor, and Animal Man was amazing. And I've never seen that kind of tone handled in comic book properties, and I think Nolan would find a way to redefine what that tone was. The second part from Galaghost, thank you so much to your words of wisdom in the meanwhile. This too shall pass was on the mark, and thank you for the support, Boston love. Dude, I'm so glad to hear it in the past tense. I remember that. That was a while back. Congratulations. Working for a nonprofit is amazing. It's coming up in the holidays. That's when I try to do as much donating my time as I can. This holiday season is going to be crazy, but it's very important to me to get some nonprofit stuff in. So I love that you're doing that for work. I love that you're helping folks out, especially in the city that means the most to me. Much love to Boston. I appreciate you very much, Galaghost. Dude, that's so cool to hear. That's really special, and I'm so glad I could inspire in any way whatsoever. That means a lot to me. Let's see, Peaks in the chat talking about Wicked and the excitement. I loved it. Check out my review. It's spoiler free if you haven't seen it yet. People saying they know me from Break Room. Hell yeah, Christian. Ronin Unchained. Am I reading Minky Woodcock? Awesome comic. Ronin, I'm actually not. I do not know that book. I'm adding it to my list because I trust you. I do not know it at all. Very intrigued. Okay. Speaking of comics and glory. Oh, and just a moment of silence. We took it. From 999 Dawn FM, thank you very much for the super chat. I'm going to take the moment of silence to hydrate. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate every single super chat. You guys know, comics are expensive, and YouTube doesn't, the internet at large is not as, movies, videos do better. Comic videos don't. So these videos technically aren't great for the algorithm, and they aren't great for growing the page, but they are important to me, and this growing community is important to me, so I love that you guys love them, so thank you. Kevin Feige, let's go from DCU to MCU. We have a very new universe being born in December, and then we've got a universe changing throughout next year because we're getting the Fox characters coming in. It is a huge time next year. 2025 is insane for both of these giant cinematic universes. So, Kevin Feige, again, the only time I believe it is news and not just a rumor is when it's from the source. Kevin Feige gave us some updates saying, quote, regarding next year, finally, we're bringing Marvel's first family into the MCU about the long in the works project. They wrap next week. The movie comes out next summer, and then all those characters go right into the next Avengers movies. So I'm very excited for the future of the Fantastic Four. That had been a rumor. Now it's confirmed. I love that we're getting Fantastic Four and then directly into Doomsday, directly into Avengers. That is how you kick off Marvel's first family in a big, big way. They're arguably in all the biggest stuff at the Mouse House for the foreseeable future. That is very exciting. So I love to see that the Avengers movies are going to be that big. It means a lot to me that we're going to get something of that scope from these characters, because Fantastic Four are so important to Marvel. Now that Marvel finally has them back, using them, kicking off in a huge way, because it's going to be like summer next year is going to be Fantastic Four, and it will not be long, and I assume we get something Doom. I think there'll be a post-credit scene with Doom that'll lead into Doomsday, but I feel like from July to May, it'll be before you know it, like 10 months, more Fantastic Four, and then 12 months, more Fantastic Four. Within, like, just under 3 years. In like 33 months, we'll have 3 Fantastic Four appearances from none in the MCU. That's very exciting. Talking about Thunderbolts, he said, quote, "That is what Marvel is all about. It's taking characters from all different types of places and franchises and putting them together. That's what the Avengers is. That's what Guardians of the Galaxy is." True. I think Thunderbolts is looking more and more Dark Avengers-y. I think it looks like that ragtag group of Marvel characters. I think it looks fun. The trailer surprised me by how much I loved it. I've enjoyed the footage we've seen so far, but the most recent trailer has me the most sold. So, yeah, it is a group of ragtag heroes tied together. And then, in talking about X-Men, which is his world, man, Kevin Feige loves his X-Men, and I'm very excited to see what he does with that passion. Saying, quote, "I think you will see that continues in our next few movies with some X-Men players that you might recognize." Saying that right after Thunderbolts makes me think we're going to see at least an X-Men in Thunderbolts, which is so insane. That is so soon. I'm so excited. I think we also might see 1 or 2 in Captain America Brave New World. I would love for you guys in the chat, put in any X-Men you think might be in the madness that is Brave New World and Thunderbolts back-to-back, because I do think Thunderbolts and Captain America tie together. I think Captain America comes out in February, Thunderbolts comes out in May. That's only like 3 months apart. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a part 1, part 2, if not a post-credit scene directly into. Like, these movies are tied together in some way. I think we get an X-Man in maybe as soon as February, which is very exciting, especially with how he's talking about him here. So he said, "I think you will see that continues in the next few movies with some X-Men players that you might recognize." Right after that, the whole story of Secret Wars really leads us into a new age of mutants and the X-Men. Again, it's one of those dreams come true. We finally have the X-Men back. There's like a paternal pride here. I love that. He's getting his characters back. He was there from the beginning with, you know, Fox's X-Men. He was the one that made Hugh Jackman's hair right. He's the guy that's been advocating for these X-Men for so very long, and it makes me so happy that he's got his guys back. So I'm curious who we might get in there. I would really love to see Cyclops and Storm get time before the X-Men movie to grow their characters, because they're the ones I feel like have been the most underserved for their importance. Then we might get some fun side characters. I could see, you know, a Jubilee pop up, and someone in the chat also said that that is someone they think might pop up. Hippo Nipple, great name. I think they have 6 like a cat. I could see that, and I'm very, Morph would be great. That would also tie into World That Hates and Fears Them. Very curious about who we get, and it could start as soon as Captain America, which would be bananas, because it is time. It is 2025. I do think the best introduction of Rogue is taking out Carol. I think Captain Marvel 3 would be so dope if Rogue was the villain. So then in speaking about Deadpool and Wolverine, he said regarding Hugh Jackman, when we first started working on the film for the first time, I wanted to see Wolverine in a yellow costume. I had goosebumps on set when he walked out wearing that costume and put on that mask for the first time. I've been working 25 years to bring that to life. That is so special. A quarter of a century. That is so cool. I'm so happy for Kevin Feige. Like, I feel like James Gunn is getting to build a universe of characters he's loved and has worked towards his whole life. I feel like Kevin Feige is getting to bring in characters to the universe that he built in so many ways to life. And like, that's just, these two guys are such huge nerds, and they've worked so hard to get the nerd culture to this point. It makes me so happy that they're thriving, and it makes me so happy that next year they're getting their victory laps. Like, this is so dope, and we get to benefit. We get to love all this stuff. There are 9 MCU properties next year. And I know that seems like a lot, because it is, but everything that was greenlit and has been sitting on a shelf is coming out along with the new stuff. And then we also get the kickoff of the DCU this year that goes into Superman next year. It is so much. And we get Spider-Man Noir from Sony, and we get, whatever we get for Gen V. I don't know when it is, but we get Gen V at some point. We get Invincible Season 3. We get, Grogu and Mandalorian. I'm going to be covering all of this right here. I think if you guys come from Capes and Cowls, I believe if I do everything I want to do, I'm going to have 39 videos in the 31 days of December, because I'm going to be covering everything What If. I'm going to be covering Creature Commandos. I'm going to be covering the new Star Wars show, Skeleton Crew. I'm going to be giving you guys reviews for everything from Mufasa to Nosferatu to Sonic 3. I'm also going to be bringing you guys lots of year-end wrap-up videos, a top 24 of 2024 in 2 parts, a 24 to 11, and then a top 10 movies. I'm going to do my favorite shows, my favorite music. So literally every day is the goal to bring you guys something. So if you're not subscribed already, I'm going to be doing a lot in December. I'm going to start hydrating now. And then I bring that up now because next year is even crazier. Next year is that speed at all times. So lots of cool stuff to come. And I get to talk about some really cool stuff that's happening outside of this page in the new year as well very soon. So lots of greatness. Please hit that subscription bell. I got a lot of goals, a lot of plans, a lot of schemes, and you guys make it all possible. While I was ranting, I saw 2 super chats come in, which is just heartwarming, and I appreciate them very much. I know the world's expensive, and I know every dollar means a lot, so thank you, truly. Oh, Lindsay's back! I think Bucky is in Cap 4. I think that's who Sam is talking to in the trailer that's behind the column. I hadn't even thought about who was behind the column. That's such an obvious they're hiding someone. And I think he was cast as some sort of like congressman or something in Thunderbolts, so maybe he's the thing that ties them together, where he's an important government official in Cap 4 and something happens that makes him cop on the edge, congressman on the edge in Thunderbolts. That is a great idea, Lenti. You just inspired a whole crazy tinfoil hat theory for me. Great. Thank you. And happy birthday. Captain Ash. Hey there, Koi. Thoughts on 2000 AD and Judge Dredd? Dug my case files out of storage and I've since added 2 more volumes. Love it. I love both of them, but I haven't read them in years. So I remember loving them. I'm a huge fan of Jock's art. Jock is one of my faves of that really aggressive Sienkiewicz style. And I remember loving them, but I haven't read them in recent enough to know if I still love them, but I assume I do. And I really loved the Carl Urban movie, and I didn't see that until recently, so I feel like I'd still vibe with it. And 2000 AD is also just bananas. So yeah, big fan of both, but it has been quite a while, if that hopefully answers your question. And thank you again for the super chat, good sir, Captain Ash. All right, let's talk comics themselves. Actually, one more quote, and it's not an exact quote, I'm paraphrasing, but I want to also acknowledge J.C. Chandor, the director of Craven, came out and said, basically, give our movie a chance. I know that Sony has failed you in the past. He paraphrased. Like, he just said, like, don't look at the Sony movies and skip ours. Like, give us a chance individually. And I understand people not wanting to keep, going to Sony Marvel movies. I like them. I understand people don't. But I do think it's worth noting, like, studios are absolutely a force behind movies, but a director and writer are arguably more important as far as the shape of a movie. And J.C. Chandor's Triple Frontier is fantastic. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson looks like he's having the time of his life, and he's killing it as Craven. So I would wait until you hear from someone you trust whether or not to see it. Don't just rely on, because it's not like the director of Madam Web or the writers of Madam Web. It's a new team. So I just want to give benefit of the doubt. And I hate that we're at the point where internet connectivity has made it so like please see my movie. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to be open-minded. I hope everyone can do the same. Time will tell. But that is going to do it for our bevy of quotes. Let me know in the comments below, especially if you're watching this after the live stream, what you thought of James Gunn's bevy of quotes while promoting Creature Commandos. Let me know what you thought of Kevin Feige's updates on Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and X-Men. The fact that we're getting X-Men in stuff in and around Thunderbolts, maybe as soon as Cap 4, that feels revelatory. The fact that James Gunn talked about multiple R-rated projects and making it whatever's right for the character, not trying to whittle things down or engross them into R, that is the biggest quote I got out of the James Gunn stuff. Very excited for both. Let me know what you lovelies think in the comments below. Let's talk about comics themselves, ya lovelies. This is for last week, the week of November 13th. Earlier this week, I gave you my favorite comics for the week of November 6th because I was so busy 2 weeks ago. I did not get to read them. I finally caught up, so now is the time for me to dive in. I read all week because I wanted to be caught up for you guys by Friday, and by golly, I did it, and it was a great week in comic books. So these are my favorite comics for the week of the 13th. Some of them are right here in the stack, so I'm going to show you the actual cover if I have them. I don't know how many I have, but we'll figure that out. It was a great week in books, and then I'll preview the books that are coming out 2 days ago, the 20th, which are in comic stores right now, and then next week we'll be on track again. On Tuesday, I hope to do a live stream that's going to be breaking down my favorites from this week, and I'm going to start reading those right after this video, and then I'm going to go film at Real Rejects, and then I'm going to sleep. At some point, I will sleep, but in the meantime, we did it. I'm so proud of catching up. All right, first up, my favorites from last week, the week of November 13th. My favorite of those books. Oh no, where is it? Guys, this is the chaos. Here it is. We've got Absolute Batman #2. We are loving this universe. Everyone I talk to in my comic book space is really digging all the Absolute stuff. If you don't know what Absolute is, brand new continuity, brand new jumping on point. So Absolute is if Batman was now, but also in this case, Batman Bruce Wayne doesn't have his billions. So it's an inversion on the billionaire Bruce Wayne idea. How would Batman work without the billions? He wouldn't have a butler, so Alfred's very different in the story. That's Alfred. There's an Absolute Superman where he's not yet a symbol for hope. He's helping out refugees. It's more small, communal. With Wonder Woman, she comes from Paradise Island. In Absolute Wonder Woman, she comes from hell, has an awesome big sword. So it's an inversion on a key element, but the rest is the same. And it's all new continuity, all new jumping on point. So you've never had to read a comic in your life. And the art by Nick Dragotta here is amazing. The writing by Scott Snyder is metal as always. Highly recommend checking out Absolute Batman #2, which came out last week. It is one of my favorites, and I didn't mean to start the bagging and boarding early, but I cannot let this Absolute Batman just sit out here, raw dog in the air. That's unacceptable. All right, so Absolute Batman #2 is the first of them. The next is also a book I've got right in front of me. That is going to be Amazing Spider-Man #61. This is a new creative team on Amazing Spider-Man. You guys know, wasn't as in love with the last run. I gave a few of the issues, made the top 9, but they were kind of the one-off fighting issues because I love John Romita Jr. as an artist. Didn't love what Zeb Wells was doing to my boy personally, but Joe Kelly, one of my favorite writers, I think is here to save the day. This is the Sorcerer Supreme Doom enlisting Spider-Man to do a series of trials that he doesn't have time to bother with that Doctor Strange had been doing, but now as the Sorcerer Supreme, he's outsourcing some of that work. One of those jobs is to Spider-Man. This is written by Joe Kelly, one of my favorite Deadpool writers of all time. He's also the guy that wrote Deadpool and Spider-Man in that first arc. He's absolutely fantastic, and he's killing it so far. Book is funny. Book is joyous. McGinnis on art is always great. I want a McGinnis tattoo. I actually, like, my first tattoo, it's from McGinnis art. So I'm a big fan of him as an artist. Definitely recommend checking out Amazing Spider-Man #61. And then the next book is going to be Batman and Robin #15. This is a really cool book with Damian Wayne. It's a very paternal book, so it's Batman as a father. This issue is very Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne, not as much Batman and Robin, and it's them dealing with a crazy fire, corporate espionage. Don't want to give too much away, but it's cool to see their dynamic in a new setting and them be heroes, but as Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne in this issue. Next up, we've got Captain America #15. This is from J. Michael Straczynski, who is an incredible writer. He's done some great stuff on Superman. He's one of those writers that redefines characters, did a really good job on Spider-Man. He's the guy that brought in the totems and lots of the stuff with Moreland. Big fan of his work. His Captain America is great because he's teaming up Thor and Spider-Man with Cap, and the art by Sayez absolutely sings for this. His writing on Spidey is so funny and quippy. The fish out of the water stuff with Thor is great. The dynamic's just really cool here. I'm really digging this book. And then next up, we've got G.I. Joe, the comic, #1. So this is a cheeky little play on G.I. Joe, the movie. This is a variant cover. I actually went and saw G.I. Joe, the movie, with this team behind the book. They hosted a screening, and then everyone got a custom variant cover. This was from Tony Fleece, I believe. And this book is great. If you've never read G.I. Joe, this is brand new #1. This is brought to you by Skybound. Kirkman is overseeing this universe. Josh Williamson is writing this. Josh Williamson gets G.I. Joe, loves G.I. Joe. Brand new continuity, brand new jumping on point. Highly recommend #1 right there. Next up, from Tom King and Bilks Evely, the team behind Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, one of my favorite comics of all time, is Helen of Wyndhorn. Helen of Wyndhorn #6 is incredible. It is the culmination of the first arc. It is the build everything's been going to between the girl and her grandfather. If you haven't read this, I don't want to give away how it ends, obviously, but everything ends in a mystical, satisfying, big way that I was really impressed by, and the art is stunning. The writing is so joyously, like, swashbuckly. Helen of Wyndhorn, highly recommend it. And then, next up, we've got Minor Arcana number 3. Minor Arcana is from Jeff Lemire, writing and illustrating. It's bigger graphic novels. This is the beginning of the first arc of the story, so it takes a break after this one. But this girl is a very hard-to-write trope where she's unlikable, becomes likable, finds kindness, finds all those things, but while practicing witchcraft, while people in town, she's basically trapped doing her mom's job. Her mom gets sick, and her mom is like the local soothsayer, palm reader, so she gets stuck doing that job, but actually can see stuff. Really interesting book, really interesting character, handled very well. Then we've got NYX number 5. This is from Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly. This book is such a different thing than NYX that at first I didn't love it, but once I realized it is the X-Men in New York, not NYX, in the way that I think of NYX with X-23, incredible. It feels like modern New York. It feels like mutants in New York navigating the systems that are against them. It feels like kids that feel like outsiders. It feels like X-Men. I really love this book. The writing is exceptional. NYX is fantastic. Then we've got the Uncanny X-Men number 5, which I have some... Oh, here it is. Uncanny X-Men number 5. This art by Marquez is stunning. These covers feel so classic. The interiors are just as beautiful. Written by Gail Simone, who writes the hell out of Deadpool. Also, it turns out, writes the hell out of X-Men. Brand new mix of OG X-Men and brand new mutants altogether, and I actually care about the new mutants, whether it's the villains or the heroes. They feel impactful and important. The team is Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine. It's really interesting. Highly recommend this book. The art and writing are both exceptional, and you're only 5 issues in. Very good jumping on point. Very dope. And yes, Ash, Rogue, proving she's a viable leader, and he's also saying, loving Minor Arcana. Fantastic. I love to see the comic stuff. Also, we only went down from 120 to 108. I expected it to shutter because usually comic stuff, like I said, doesn't do as well. Makes me very happy this audience is vibing with the actual comic stuff. So those are my favorite books from last week. What say we look at the books that are coming out this week? In alphabetical order, the comics that I'm most excited for this week, the week of November 20th. Usually I do it by publisher. I'm going to go alphabetical because that's how I've got my read order. Since we're a few days in, I've already sorted my read order. So it's going to be Action Comics 1076, Avengers Assemble number 3, Batman and Robin Year 1 number 2, great jumping on point there, Batman Full Moon number 2, Batman Superman World Finest number 33, continuing that great Mark Waid run, Black Cloak number 10 from Image Comics, Catwoman number 70. I'm very excited for that book. This is the second issue in the All-In. So Absolute is brand new continuity. All-In is new jumping on points in regular continuity. So this is issue 70, but it might as well be issue 2, because at issue 69, giggity, they changed the creative team and they're starting a new arc. So you can jump in 1 issue ago. So look for the All-In or the Absolute stuff if you want new places to jump into comics. Very excited about Catwoman number 70. Chasm, Curse of Cain, number 4, some Ben Reilly and Cain stuff. Daredevil 15, Dark Knights of Steel, All Winter, number 5. Dead Eyes, The Empty Frames, number 3, great book from Jerry Duggan over there. Department of Truth 27, one of my favorite books on the shelves, love Department of Truth. Exceptional X-Men number 3, Geiger number 8, House of Slaughter 27, Immortal Thor 17, Jenny Sparks number 4, Lawful number 5 from Boom Studios. Jenny Sparks, by the way, new Tom King book, one of the writers on Lanterns, but also one of the best writers, in my opinion, in comics, and he's doing a ton of great stuff at DC. Marvel Zombies, Dawn of Decay, number 3. Miles Morales, 26. Minor Arcana, number 3. I already read. Take that past me. Little did you know, you'd read it already. Then we've got Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, number 2. Phases of the Moon Knight, number 4. Mark Spector is back. He died for a while. He's back. Phoenix, number 5. Predator versus Black Panther, number 4. Talking about that Dark Horse versus Marvel stuff earlier. The newest issue is out this week, and you're only 4 issues in. Jump on it. It's great. Prodigy, Slaves of Mars, new book from Mark Miller. Very interesting stuff. Great new universe he's building. Prodigy, Slaves of Mars. The Question, All Along the Watchtower, number 1. Brand new Question book has me excited. I love that character. Scarlet Witch, number 6. Sentinels, number 2. Something is Killing the Children, 0. I haven't read yet. It's been out for 3 weeks, but it's sold out. I finally got my copy. Reading it this week. Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, number 7. Spider-Man Reign 2, number 5. Storm, number 2. One of my favorite characters. Terminator 2, not the movie, the comic, from Declan Shalvey. We've got Titan 17, Ultimate Spider-Man 11, probably my book of the week. Haven't even read it yet, but I'm very excited. I love that title. Uncanny Valley number 6, Venom War. It's Jeff. I love Jeff, the land shark. Very excited that he's somehow in Venom War. Sign me up for any It's Jeff content. Venom War, Lethal Protectors number 3. What if Minnie became Captain Marvel? Because why not? Wolverine number 3 and Wonder Woman number 15. 13 are the books I will be checking out this week in alphabetical order. Now, you lovelies are still rocking out. We got a happy Kendrick Day in the chat. I do believe Predator versus Black Panther is only 4 issues, so this should be the grand conclusion of all that goodness. I love this chat. Talking comics and Kendrick makes me very, very happy indeed. All right, so we've done the review for the week of the 13th. We've done the preview for this week, the week of the 20th. Let's bag and board some comics, and let's answer Gareth's question. If DC done a What If TV show, what character new changes would you want to make interesting episodes? Ooh, I love that question. That kind of feels like what the Absolute is doing, right? Like, what if Bruce Wayne didn't have billions? What if Wonder Woman is from hell? What if Green Lantern was fueled by fear? What if Flash was very slow? I would love to see what if Mr. Miracle got in a position he couldn't get out of? What if Bruce Wayne never had a Robin? Like how those adventures would feel different, like without the Boy Wonder, like certain key adventures. What if Supergirl never met Superman? Like how would she be on Earth as the daughter of Krypton that remembers losing her planet? What if Catwoman was never a cat burglar? Like what if Selena Kyle came from money? Like inverting Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne stories. That'd be cool. Some of those. All right, so let's dive into bag and board. So I talk about Something is Killing the Children a lot, and I talk about variant covers a lot. This is a great example of a beautiful variant cover of Something is Killing the Children number 36. We're going to bag and board a few of these Something is Killing the Children so you guys can see how different covers can be and how beautiful the stuff coming out of Boom Studios Something is Killing the Children are. So this is one of the covers of issue 36. And then we've got this stunning one. My God, that's a gorgeous cover. So this is still the same issue 36, but with a different cover. This is a virgin cover, so a bit more rare. Doesn't have any markings on what the title is. They usually do those in smaller print runs, as is this last one here. And then this next one looks to be, I believe, from Jay Lee. That is Jaelee, this incredible artist. This one right there. Someone in the chat said, what if Stan Lee wrote for DC? They've actually done that before. Stan Lee's done versions of DC characters. They've teamed up before, because the rivalry between Marvel and DC is very fabricated by the fans for the most part. So it's a little silly. But look at this Jay Lee cover. My God. Oh, and look at this beauty right here. Another stunning variant. I'm going to actually bag and board this one before I even show it, because I don't want it out here in the world. I'm always afraid there's going to be like a sudden earthquake with beautiful covers. It's a very unfounded fear, but this is like pure 90s foil goodness. Look at this. Something is Killing the Children. Beautiful foil variant right there. And then we've got 2 more of these really, really beautiful unmarked covers. If you guys haven't read Something is Killing the Children, it is taking a break at 40. So it is a great time to go back to issue 1 because it is not that long running of a comic, but it is so impactful and such a big comic. I'm very excited to see more of it. Look at these covers. And then we've got, man, Boom is killing it. I got 2 more covers. I was wrong. I underguessed the number of Something is Killing the Children that be coming at me. What if Dr. Manhattan destroyed reality? Well, that would end abruptly. I don't know what you do. Like, I don't know how you tell that story. That I guess would just go to black. Love Erica Slaughter so much. My cat's named after her incredible series. Well, this cover by, man, it looks so good in foil. I'm gonna show this one in honor of your cat being named Erica Slaughter. Is your cat named Slaughter or Erica Slaughter? Look at that cover. My God, stunning. Thing of beauty. And then we're almost to the main cover. This is the last variant, and then we've got the main cover of Something is Killing the Children, number 36. I love the comic bagging. Can we do a video showcasing some of your favorite artists and covers? I think what I'm going to do is, my long boxes are literally 300 comics long. I think when I put in some of my Silver Age comics, what I'll do is go through like 100 comics and just go through like this array of years. Picking favorites, I'd have to go through. I have 50 long boxes across 2 states, so they're spread out, and most of my comics are back east. So I couldn't really do a favorites, but what I could do is go through, you know, a chunk of time and show you like favorites from that era. And I might do that with Uncanny X-Men and Amazing Spider-Man because I have some new Silver Age that I have to put away. I have recently gotten my earliest issue. Oh, this is the regular cover right there. Boom. So that's what the regular cover for issue 36 looks like, and you guys just saw a bunch of variants. I got my earliest Amazing Spider-Man recently, so I'm going to be adding that to my collection, and it is from the first year of Amazing Spider-Man ever existing, the first, like, from 1963. So I'm down to just 27 Spider-Man I need in the world. Might be 26. I need to look at my list. Ever. So I'm going to be putting some comics away. And speaking of which, these are 3 that I needed that I got amazing deals on thanks to the fine folks at Golden Apple Comics. They are absolute angels. Not going to be tacky and show the price, but I got, I needed 30, and then I got these 2, so they put me down to 28. So I needed 30 comics, I got these 2, so I had 29's right here, and then 28's in my hand. So this is just so beautiful. Second ever appearance of Sandman. This is from, I believe, in 1964. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 18, so that is now in my collection. And then this is a very early Vulture, Amazing Spider-Man number 24, which is now in my collection. So this is from 30 down to 29, down to 28, and then I have a first year of Spider-Man ever comic that I'll be adding to my collection, putting me at 27 comics, and that's all I need for Spider-Man in the world. That is literally including Sensational, Spectacular, Ultimate, Web of, that's every Spider-Man comic, and all I have left are Amazing Spideys. The most recent comic I need in the world from Spidey is the first Punisher. I don't have 129, and that's going to be a battle because that's like a mortgage payment. And then I also need the Death of Gwen Stacy, but then after that, everything I need is under issue 52. So it's going to be a journey, but I'm in the home stretch of collecting my precious baby boy, and these will be going in there. Bye, Scott Welsh. Oh, Douglas announcing, updating me. Mr. McKinney, Koi Rection. Oh, I like that. Koi Rection from last stream. Saga is not free on Kindle. He has a subscription via Amazon. I mistakenly said on my podcast that I always forget to plug. Guys, if you like my content, I also have a podcast literally every 2 weeks, and every week if you're a patron, I have a podcast called Koicast. You can stream it wherever you stream your podcast. It's on iHeartRadio, Spotify, whatever. It's anywhere you get podcasts. You can check out koicast.com. We got merch, we got podcast stuff, we got all sorts of stuff. So I got a podcast too. And if Patreon intrigues you, I have a Patreon. And all the comics I talk about here, I also talk about the books I didn't like as much via rating them. I don't like review them, but I give everything a rating. So if you're curious about a book and you and I align, I might be able to save you some money if I didn't think it went as well as I hoped. So I do that for movies, for TV shows, and comics over at my Patreon. It's like $5 to $100, whatever you want to pay. It's like just $5 unlocks everything. And it's just, I never think to plug stuff. So Patreon and podcast. I also have, if you want to check out more Koi, Captain Ash. Do you think variants are good for the industry? Personally, it dilutes the shelf space having 10 variants of all the same book and confuses newcomers. I think it's good for collectors. I think it's good for value. You don't want a comic to be too expensive for people to jump on, but you can have a 1 of 100 print make an issue more valuable. I think comic books need ways to keep collectors enchanted and things that make like the stock go up, so to speak. So I see their merit, but what I do is like I only get variants of some, like Something is Killing the Children I get variants of because they're beautiful, but I don't get variants of every comic. So I think it's dealer's choice. I don't think it dilutes personally, but I see where you're coming from and I absolutely understand that perspective. All right, over to Batman 146. This is that incredible Zdarsky Jimenez run I'm talking about all the time. This is from a few weeks ago because your boys got to catch up on bagging and boarding, which is why I added this segment to the show. Here we are catching up. So Batman 146 right here. And then we've got the stunning, the beautiful, the incredible Ultimate Spider-Man number 4. So this is actually from 6 months ago, because issue 11 is out this week. So it's from 7 months ago. Your boy's catching up on bagging and boarding. As you can see in front of you, lots and lots of comics diving in here. Thoughts on the character of Lobo? I've read Lobo comics. I think he's freaking hilarious. I think Jason Momoa is the perfect actor for him. I totally agree. I would love to see that. I recommend the Lobo paramilitary Christmas special this time of year. A Lobo fights Santa, like Big Red himself. So if you're curious about Santa and Lobo, and you want an introduction to Lobo, that is a hell of a weird good one. Check out that if that's your cup of tea. But yeah, I like Lobo generally. I'm a fan. We got The Amazing Spider-Man 48. So we're at 61 now, but this book was coming out like every 2 weeks. So this one's a little older as well. But like I said, we're catching up. Nice John Romita Jr. cover. And then actually I've got an Ultimate Spider-Man right here. So this is issue 3, and I just bagged and boarded issue number 1. So to save me some sorting later, I always have to sort at the end of these streams. As you can see, I got a fair amount of comics to get through. I think like 3 more live streams, and I'll be almost caught up to that week's books of bagging and boarding. But I kind of like the chaos, because I get to remember covers from 6 months ago and be like, oh yeah. What do you think of the live-action trailer for How to Train Your Dragon? You know what? I was going to cover that at Real Rejects, because I'm a huge How to Train Your Dragon fan. But Tara and Greg watched the trilogy together, so they covered it. So I got to skip it, because I want to see that movie no matter what. So everything I can avoid, I get to have a newer movie. I get to have a fresh excitement. The homie Mason Thames is incredible, and I have no doubt in him. And it's the same creative team, like the same director as the animated ones. Like, there's nothing about what that movie is assembling to be that I'm worried about. So I'm going to try to avoid all until the release, because I have to, scrutinize Marvel trailers and scrutinize DC news, and I don't get to like actually go in blind often. So How to Train Your Dragon means a lot to me, and the fact that that trailer, I didn't cover it, felt like fate. So now I'm going to go in blind. Ultimate X-Men number 2, right after Ultimate Black Panther number 3. Clearly this was a U section in my bagging and boarding. Hi Koi, what DC character do you think is next to get a giant statue? I would assume Flash, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter would be cool, depending on where they put him. I mean, Batman by Jim Lee and Green Lantern by Jamal Campbell are so rad. That's a great question. I got to think about that one. What are my thoughts on CGC, and have I used them? I personally do not like seeing comics as commodities. And as soon as you slab a comic, you can't read it again, you can't touch it. So I bag and board, but they're not sealed away from me. And even if I don't open them ever again, it doesn't feel like I've made them unavailable. So I don't CGC because I don't plan on ever selling my books. I'll probably give them to my kids. I don't have kids yet, but when I do. So I know it makes things more valuable, but since I don't see them as money, I see them as like art that I want to be able to access. I personally don't CGC, but I have no problem with people that want to. As long as you're collecting comics, I love what you're doing. So however you choose to collect them. Oh, speaking of bagging and boarding and putting stuff away that I need to add to my collection, we've got not 1, but 2 comics that are going to be added to my collection. We have Uncanny X-Men 125, very important Dark Phoenix issue to add to the collection. This I got about a month ago, and I am very excited. This condition is amazing. I am so stoked to put it in with the rest. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it with the bagging and boarding section of stuff, which I'm going to put aside. And then we've got 1 more. So that's going to be to put in my long boxes first. We've got the Hellfire Club introduction, boom, right here. I believe this is the first Claremont burn, I believe. It's from 1980. It's very early Claremont burn, but that's a beauty right there. So nice issue 132 and 125 right there, adding to my personal Silver Age collection. And then, you know what? I did this last time. Let's do it again, because we still have 110 of you. You guys are actually like the same amount when I started talking comics and stayed. You guys are actually giving me a lot of hope that this show has an audience that can grow. The fact that you guys are staying right here with me through this journey means there's a comic contingent of you, and that means so much to me. So I did this before, but this is how comics get mailed. They basically come in like these, mailer madnesses, and I bag and board from here, but they're pretty secure. So I hadn't seen this was how comics get mailed until I started getting them from publishers, so I thought it was interesting. The way they actually arrive, at least to individuals, I don't know how they arrive to comic stores. I've worked in comic stores, but I was never in charge of that element of it. But this is what it looks like when they come to you. I learned over many trial and error how to open it without messing up the books inside, because it's double reinforced. So it's got this reinforcement and then a reinforcement inside. And then voila, we've got comic books. Oh, hell yeah. All right, so this one, you lovelies, is all different editions of Berserker. So I got to host the Berserker Hall H panel with Keanu Reeves, the first ever comic book on the Hall H stage. It is, to this day, one of the proudest moments of my life to be the first ever person to host a comic at Comic-Con's biggest stage. It is such an honor that I do not take lightly, and so they send me all the Berserker stuff, and it means a lot to me that that company is like, they love them. Yeah, they love comics, and they love the care and compassion for them, so it means a lot to me they send me stuff. So this is Berserker, the Lost Book of B. This is a variant cover here. And then, oh, hold on, I'm going to make sure this one gets bagged and boarded before I even touch it. This is the foil variant, which is so 90s-tastic and awesome. Indiana Jake, thoughts on Debeki Aisha as a new Wonder Woman? You know, I like Debeki. I don't necessarily see her as Wonder Woman. She doesn't look like she grew up on an island. She has the height and the Amazon-ness. Look at that. That is stunning. She's not quite Wonder Woman for me, but I do see her somewhere in the DCU. I don't have a Wonder Woman fan cast. I do think it should be an unknown. Someone that is jacked and tall and mighty. I don't think she can be taller than Superman and Batman like some continuities, because Superman is already 6'4", and Aaron Pierre is, I believe, 6'4" as well, so I don't think she'll be towering over the gents like she is in some art, but tall and yoked and maybe an unknown that could actually fight. Another beautiful cover of Berserker, the Lost Book of B. I used to get comics in a tube in the mail when I was a kid. Oh, God. I used to get them in very flimsy. It was like a board that was like the size of half a thing of cardboard and then plastic. And that was like a subscription from the comic company. So like my Ultimate Spider-Man, when I was subscribed, like the 2000s Ultimate Spider-Man, I was getting like 6 Spider-Man books, 5 X-Men books, all the Ultimate books, and I have to like replace a lot of them because the way they came in the mail was so flimsy. A tube is so much worse though. We got a Keanu-tastic one right here. Keanu Reeves, obviously the inspiration and the creator and one of the writers of Berserker. So we've got some very Keanu-tastic covers here on this Lost Book of B. Comic book creators are rare. The comics are what I'm here for. On that note, just discovered Jenna Anderson at Go Read Some Comics, who celebrates the comic world in a similar way. Oh, hell yeah. Shouts out to Jenna Anderson at Go Read Some Comics. That's incredible. I love to hear that. Another beautiful variant cover. We got another foil, it looks like. I take a little extra care because, boy, oh boy, can those get smudgy. The girl who played Mary Marvel in Shazam make a good woman one. She's just not that tall. Yeah, the height is so important for framing and for like the silhouette of the Justice League and for just the general feel of the character. I know you can Tom Cruise it, but if they can, I really think like even the term Amazonian, like tall, is part of that whole. Look at that. Oh, that's pretty. That is a beautiful cover right there. Oh, and there's the main cover, but done in foil. That is stunning. Man, that's pretty. This one is from Ron Garney, one of my favorite artists. He does such great interiors, and this cover, he's responsible for Spider-Man Back in Black, some of my favorite Captain America stuff. He is an absolute force of nature. Let's see, a cardboard tube, X-Men straight from Marvel. God damn, Dom Life, that makes me sad. Look at that beautiful cover. God damn. Are you able to separate content from the creator? I think so. I mean, I watch Lethal Weapon every Christmas. I think art is a collaboration. Like, a lot of people make art. Like, thousands of people work on set, and then distributors and marketers and all that stuff. So, I try to. Like, I try to. Have I read all of these? I have. Yeah, I read just... So, this is Berserker, the Lost Book of B, right? So, I would read just the main cover. So, when I read this cover, and then I bag and board and tuck those away for safety. But this was the cover I read because it was the main cover. I read about 50 comics a week on average, sometimes 40, sometimes 60, and then I read probably 10 or 15 comics for context of whatever news is out, so I can be informed about them and reread stuff to need the information. So I read between 40 and 70 comics a week. So yeah, I've read each and every one of these, including this one. So that is how comics get shipped. that is how I personally bag and board. I'm going to do this one last section, and then I think that is going to be it for today, you lovelies. But it's a nice hearty stack. Let's do this together. Also, shouts outs to, I gave a Golden Apple shout out earlier with those back issues. Shouts out to House of Secrets. Golden Apple is on Melrose. They're celebrating their 45th anniversary on Saturday. 45 years of Golden Apple Comics since 1979. Down on Melrose. If you guys are in LA, go support them. They're amazing. House of Secrets is my shop in Burbank, and they had a break-in and lost a lot of stuff. So I'm saying if you guys want comics this holiday season, they ship. If you're in LA, get stuff for you, for friends, for family. House of Secrets, they went through it, so some love to them. Boom. Yes. His Daredevil run is legendary, Ronin. He is the one who invented the villain of Daredevil Born Again. So if you are excited for Daredevil Born Again, support the great Ron Garney and check out the Charles Soule Ron Garney run of Daredevil. It is awesome. All right, I want to give some love to the great Derek Robertson here. This is a Derek Robertson original comic. This is Greaser. This is the creator of the art, all of the art. So it's Warren Ellis, Derek Robertson, and The Boys. So the art of The Boys is my boy Derek. It's a buddy of mine. This is his independent book from his own imprint, and I am absolutely a fan of creators branching out on their own. So check out Greaser. This is from Derek Robertson. Like I said, if you like The Boys in that world, this is his baby. And he signed that along with the other team members on that for me, and it means a lot. Am I enjoying the Ultimate Spider-Man Avengers series as much as I am? Yes. The Ultimate Spider-Man book is my favorite Marvel book in a very long time. It is one of my favorite comics maybe of all time because that first arc stuck the landing so well. I look forward to it each and every month very, very much. I like that they've added a lot to the recent versions of Wonder Woman. Hope they stick with that. Yeah, the accent, she's from an island. It feels like part of the character. It feels important. So yeah, I totally agree. All right, Absolute Power tie-in, Batman number 150 right here. Bagging and boarding this bad Larry. How was We Live in Time? No spoilers, please. It's not out in the UK until New Year's Day. We Live in Time is amazing. Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh's chemistry is off the charts. It is heart-wrenching, as you would imagine, and it is every bit the journey we were promised by that incredible press tour. I did a review. I don't know if it has any spoilers. Don't watch it until after you've seen it. But I really, really enjoyed it. Quite a bit. I loved it. It was very heart-wrenching and great. Batman 150, an all-in tie-in right there for you lovelies. We've also got Ultimate Black Panther number 5 right here. Okay, so when all is going well, I'm not losing half the things. There's a few ways I bag and board. One of them is always flap up, and then I put the board in first, and it's always the smooth side out for me personally. And then I add the comic book. And the reason flap forward is because after this, I'm going to be using lots of tape, and then I tape, boop, right there. And then you get a nice sealed comic book like so. So that is one way to do it. And then another way is to get your comic. This is Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1, I believe from earlier this year. And then you line it up with your board there, again, smooth side out. And then you grab your bag, making sure the flap is close to you. And then from the back side of the flap, boom. I always personally like flap forward because I don't want the flap to cover the front of my comic. So if the flap was there, it would cover and have a weird line here instead. The line's on the back, and then you got your Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1. That is personally how I bag and board. Doug McKinney says, in the late 1980s, I used to get subscriptions from Marvel just in brown paper. Sometimes they were damaged and they came late, so I ended up buying doubles of a lot of Avengers and West Coast Avengers. I respect the tenacity and stick-to-itiveness. Darth Vadad, that is commendable. Good man. I appreciate that. House of Secrets is a great shop, but what happened to them recently sucked. I agree, Daniel. Definitely trying to... I literally kept a lot of comics in the bags so I could give them shout-outs visually so people could hopefully... Boo! Do you ever write, Coy? I feel like there would be so many creative juices flowing through by reading 50 comics a week. I don't have time because of reading 50 comics a week. I used to write. I had a screenplay option before. I've had some luck with writing, but I feel like I sound insane because I feel like my speech pattern and my word choices and my overall vernacular and pacing and cadence and all that stuff is very manic. So when I read my writing, I'm like, this is the work of a crazy person. So I don't enjoy reading back my writing, so I haven't done a lot of that lately. Jeff Carroll met Jim Starlin last month, and I had him sign a copy of my Infinity Gauntlet. Not going to keep it for myself, though. Giving it to my dad for Christmas. Dude, that's amazing. Oh, I love that, Jeff. What a beautiful everything. All of that. Jim is a friend. Jim, one of my favorite things I have in my possession. For my birthday, Jim came to I had 3 birthday parties 3 years ago. And he came to all 3 of my birthdays. And on the 3rd one, he had a hand-drawn sketch that he framed for me. Said, "Happy birthday, Coy from Thanos." So I have an original Thanos from Jim with a happy birthday. It's crazy. We got this Ultimates, number 2 right here, kicking off that universe. Really love what's going on with Ultimates. I did talk about Absolute Universe earlier. Totally did. So sorry. I love it. It's great. Ultimate Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, all fantastic. Very early on, great time to jump in. Need a rec for a limited series to read. What do y'all got? Recently read Ram V's The Many Deaths of Lila Starr, which is incredibly beautiful. Open to suggestions from the chat. Says, Coy, chat, let him know. If you liked his work there, I would recommend his book about cooking, Strange Flavors, something flavors, something flavor. What is it? Rare Flavors was really great. Ram V's doing great work on Batman a lot of the time. I didn't love his Detective Comics, but when he pops in, I usually really dig it. What other independent, like Department of Truth is amazing. It's not a limited series though, it's ongoing, but it's very dark and harrowing, like I think he writes. You might like that. I'm glad Catherine is looking forward to it. It's coming out soon. Ultimate X-Men number 5 right here for you lovelies. Sending love, Coy. Thank you, Jake. The clip on mic is really working, Coy. Best audio yet. Hell yeah, Darth Tater. We're trying new stuff, making it work. Appreciate that. Oh man, Coy, just realized you're live right now. I was just watching Winston and Roka after watching you and Winston on Christians earlier. We're hustling, me and Winston. We're out here getting stuff done. Christian, thank you, man. Did you read the What If Wanda and Peter Parker were siblings? If you did, what did you think? I don't love sibling stories. Like, personally, it didn't work for me, but it's a what if, so, like, it was fun as a what if, sure. Hopefully Thanos doesn't show up for your birthday every year. As long as Jim does and not Thanos, I'm happy. Where do you keep all these comics? I have 30-some long boxes back east, where a lot of my Silver Age and Modern Age and all this stuff before I moved out here live, in a storage unit, and then here I've got long boxes under my bed and stacked up 3 deep in my closet. I got a lot of comics, and one of the reasons I want to buy a house is I want a bedroom that'll be my work office, so I don't film in my living room or in my kitchen anymore, and I'm going to turn that into a library, like floor-to-ceiling bookcases with a ladder that swings around like in Beauty and the Beast, and it's going to be comics, and then I'm going to work out of that space, so I'll have comics as the backdrop. So that's the goal. I work very hard because living in LA is expensive, but also because I want to buy me and my fiance a house, so every dollar I make that isn't to rent and food goes in a house fund, and I'm hoping to buy a house in 2026, because next year is going to be slammed, so I'm really working hard to get a house so I can have room for all these comics, because right now I'm full up. Ultimates number 3. Lego finally made some X-Men figs. Hell yeah, the rights. It's crazy with Marvel having the rights, the cool stuff we're getting to see again, which we did not for quite some time. We're almost done with this stack of bag and a board, and then we're going to boogie on out of here. Amazing Spider-Man 55. Yeah, I would love if I could have like a studio with comics as the background and like build a studio out. Like what Real Rejects has done with their lighting, I would mirror, and what they have with the art in the background, I would have be comics, and I'd have some facing the camera. I'd probably have some vinyl. I really want to talk, I think I want to talk about music on the channel. I think I want to accept that I'm just going to do everything. Because I love music and I don't talk about it. So I would have vinyl up, I'd have comics up, I want to do that. So every dollar you lovelies contribute by liking the video, by commenting in the comments, by sending super chats, all that goes towards the house. So we're growing together. Amazing Spider-Man number 55. And then, oh, look at this beauty right here. Saga 67. Thing of beauty. Love me some Saga. It is available as a subscription on Kindle. Douglas McKinney taught me. As a homeowner, it makes comic storage so much easier, LOL. Yeah, it is pretty crazy renting and living with my fiance in a one-bedroom when I have a roommate named Comic Books. And I love that roommate. That roommate takes up a lot of space. I bought a couple of nice A-shaped two-sided bookshelves from a Borders that I once worked at that went out of business. I love to hear that you have those. I hate to hear they out of business, and I love to hear they worked at the Borders. Yeah, I really want to get, like, I'm such a nerd. I want, like, a room for my media. I want my Blu-rays. I want my vinyl. I want my comics, but I need a room for that. So that's the big goal. Ultimate Black Panther, number 7. Look at that cover. Look at that variant. Thing of beauty right there. I am so worried for Squire, Douglas McKinney. I'm so worried. I'm with you. Terrified. Things do not look good. Oh, look at Spider Sensei. Thank you for Koi's Future House and Man Cave Fund. That is very sweet. Thank you, man. That means a lot. I wasn't asking with my hands out, but I definitely felt like I was for a second. Thank you. Wasn't the goal, but I appreciate very much. That means a lot to me. That more roommate absorbs way more money than they had. You're goddamn right. They don't pay half. They don't pay any. They take, and I love them, but they take. Batman 151. Thank you again, Spidey Sensei. That means a lot. Thank you. We got Batman 151, right? Hurt. I actually, speaking of Christmas and stuff, I did get some vinyl, like discount, like crazy. Like I got a great deal on some vinyl, so I might do one of these for vinyl. If I'm gonna start talking music, maybe at the end of the year I'll do a little bit more because I got all this time with the 39 videos in 31 days. But yeah, maybe that might be a thing. And then we got one of my favorite titles in a decade, Ultimate Spider-Man #7. Look at these covers. Marco Cicchetto just killing it. The writing inside is just as good. Thing of beauty. We got the mainstream Spider-Man title. This run has ended, but it was Spider-Goblin, you know, for like the third time. Who knows why? Apparently it was selling with Amazing Spider-Man #54. Coy, with Superman and Lois coming to an end, I have a hankering for more Superman stories. What do you recommend? I recommend My Adventures of Superman, animated show, Jack Quaid voicing. I recommend Absolute Superman. I recommend Superman for All Seasons. I love that, from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. I recommend All-Star Superman from Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. I recommend Superman Up in the Sky, the Tom King stuff that feels very energetic and it's super anthology-based, so you don't have to have read a lot. I recommend Lex Luthor, Man of Steel. I'd recommend those. Highly recommend. Oh, Christopher Whamoff! Thank you, man. Dude, thank you. That is incredibly kind. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. Chris Whamoff, thanks for getting me back into comics, man. Dude, that is next level. Thank you. That is like, I talk for a living and I'm speechless in this moment. Chris, thank you, man. That will go a long way towards like me throwing money into a house fund. 100% of that will be in the, oh my God, I got to buy a house in Los Angeles fund. So thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate that. Ultimate Black Panther #6. No, guys, thank you. Like, you guys being in here is helpful. So thank you for wanting to. Thank you, Chris, for doing so. Chris is one of the biggest advocates for The Real Rejects, and him popping up over here with me means so much to me. That is so freaking kind. Thanks, Chris, man. Thank you. You put the wham and wham off, you lovely individual. Holy crap. Yeah, I agree. Christopher, what a guy. Darth Tater, dude, thanks for just being here. Thanks for keeping up the good work. I appreciate that. Ozvet. I agree. Christian Unpronounceable. Indiana Jake, I totally agree. Emperor's New Groove stuff at Box Lunch. You know I love me some Emperor's New Groove, Catherine. You are an OG of KoiCast, and you know my bias towards the Emperor. We got All In Batman #154. This is 2 issues into the new Batman stuff, so you can jump in at 153, and it's an all-new arc, all-new stuff. So DC All In, check this out. Batman 154, a delightful issue. I think that is going to do it. Douglas McKinney, my 19-year-old, got a job at Box Lunch for when she's home from college. She's going to work Black Friday. Good luck to her. Tell her to hydrate, rest. But what a great establishment. Box Lunch feeds so many people, helps so many people, has so much cool stuff. They're an incredible organization. This was an incredible live. I really enjoyed it. Chris, thank you again. I've been going live for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Bradley Pooper, your name is delightful. That is going to do it, you absolute lovelies. Thank you for the house fun stuff. Thank you for joining me with this comic goodness. Thank you for caring about comics. Thank you for joining me in this journey of loving pop culture and this journey of this live stream. I really appreciate it. Everyone going into Gladiator 2, enjoy it. People going to see Wicked, enjoy it. I have reviews up for both. Supporting this page is literally subscribing, commenting, liking. The super chats are icing on the cake. So thank you to everyone that contributed. It means the world to me. I try to hit every regular question, but it's hard because, you know, over 100 people, so I always guarantee the super chats. But as you can see, I do try to go through and read the stuff too. So you guys being in here means the world to me. Please like this video. Please leave a comment below. Homework for you absolute lovely so that we can drive comments in the comment bar is, if you could ask for one comic run or one comic or one whatever for Christmas, what do you want? I'm not Santa. I can't give them to you. But I'd love to see in the chat or in the comments like what people reading or liking or wanting or what they've always dreamt of. Like, what's your comic thing that you'd love to get for Christmas from anyone? Just a comic thing. I'd love to see that in the comments below. Let me know from these quotes as well what you're most excited about. Are you excited for the R-rated comment from James Gunn? Are you excited about the Peacemaker news? Are you excited from Kevin Feige about the X-Men potentially being here very, very soon? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like, hit that subscription bell, hit that comment bar, hit buttons. Bradley Pooper kicking it off with I want a Legion Omnibus. Hell yeah, respect. All right, that is going to do it. I appreciate you guys spending your Friday evening with me. We'll be back probably Tuesday with another live stream talking about this week's books, my favorites from the one that just dropped 2 days ago. I'm going to read all weekend so I can give you guys that next week. On Sunday, I'll be dropping my Dune. I'll be dropping my Dune Prophecy Episode 2 review. That drops on Sunday, and then next week we got comic stuff, and then next week lots more. I got 4 videos at least next week, and then December is bananas. So stay tuned for all that goodness. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing. Check out the Koi Cast anywhere you cast your pods. Check out my Patreon if you want to see my ratings on other stuff besides my top 9. Check out stuff, Patreon, podcast, and you. Check out some fun. Like, do something fun for you. I appreciate you. Mwah! Much love. I'll see you guys soon. I'm trapped. Bye.